Much as I thought I could plan a podcast, that is not going to happen. I do not have the mindset to sit here. Chop up block for block how I'm going to tell you about weight loss and weight gain. Good evening on this Thursday, July 7th, 2022. The time is 1 a.m. and welcome to Early in the AM with Isha. Today I want to talk a little bit about self-perception as it pertains to women's intuition. When is it okay to tap into it I would say tap into it if you've ignored it for a long time. I think it's a bowler's paradise. The perfect ideology of every woman is to hit strikes every single go. And a lot of us we're gutter rollers. We go with what we imagine life to be, not necessarily what going straight down the middle entitles us to. A lot of feelings hit like pins, on contact. It's not a pretty feeling, and so we constitute it as being overtly masculine in a feminine place, which isn't so. Our intuition tells us that what we align ourselves to is out of alignment. That's all it is. If I always hit straight down the middle will always hit with me. So whatever I invest that into, if it doesn't go straight down the middle with me, my intuition is going to tell me this thing is off. And a lot of times we take our strength and we try to straighten people out with it. We try to make them straight. And there might be naturally curly or crooked. And that crookedness could be anything from just how they deal with life in general to, their energy towards someone trying to fix them or correct them. We're like, how dare you tell me I can't do what I want to do? I don't care about I dual side responsibility. Responsibility doesn't have a root in me. I dual side it. If I can do one, I can do two. I'll take care of both in the same breath. Women operate that in what they produce. They can't really go out necessarily and enact such behavior without consequences. But I gotta pull that back into my life because it's so easy to look from the outside in. That's how we treat the things we buy. We look at it from the outside in. We don't know what it takes to create that thing. We just know what it takes to buy it or purchase it. And then we add value to it over the years, but we realize once we've lived in it and broken it in and survived it somehow, then we have a perception of it from the inside out. Now, anything you learn from the inside out, it's done died already. Depreciation has set in such a way. And depreciation hits us all differently. It hits us all differently, I'm sitting here and I just dumped like 3 old entries I've had saved up in my draft folder, just to see, if they make any sense. And I talk about a range of things. I really I don't have a type of mind that stays on one topic. Like I'll take one definition and I'll spread it in 30 different directions. And I'll weave in and out of it with my pain and my perception of it and how I healed from it and how it makes me whole on the inside and how I feel at home and my locale to come to my spirit and my home address, according to whatever is affecting me outside of my world at the time. And in giving something a way to go, I split in all directions like water draining into a serrated crack in a glass. It's not going to drip in one at a time. It's just going to shard in and spray in from all the different cracks and different directions and everything else. Very unevenly, but the sight of it is kind of artsy and it feels good because water dripping on the skin does feel good. Unless it's hitting you like a fire hose. But from a fire hose. But other than that, women's intuition is something to be wary of. It's one thing if you always pay attention to it. If you always give it the time of day, you can't live without it. That's a woman. That's like my mom. Me, I've lived a life where I haven't always paid it attention. Even that in that little few years that I ignored it so I can do what I felt my teenage loins wanted to do. And now I'm this grown middle-aged adult that's paid attention to it very sternly for a very long time, and now I'm just like, I see what I've missed. I was like, I see where you planted yourself, and now I'm seeing the fruitions of those loins, and then I'm looking at myself like I had to ignore a lot of, oasis in the desert type deals. It could be there, it could not be there. It's not till you step into that place and abandon this one, then you realize what the choice is, and that's what it is. When you have a female intuition and it's gut-wrenching, it's telling you to abandon something and step into something familiar. And in the worst way, I do not want to step out of myself into what I think I'm talking about. You can't be a punk your whole life. You just, man up and be a woman. Just be a woman. Just be a woman about your sensitive natured stuff. I push myself so much. I push myself into things. I push myself into so much stuff. And then the day I stopped pushing myself, the wind took me by the hand and pulled me way too fast down the street. That is a crazy analogy. I don't know where that one comes from. I have so much to do. I should be sleeping. I had a lot to do tomorrow. A lot to do. And I have to start all my homework all over again. I got to start my base notes for these new chapters I have to read about real estate appraisals. So, this is a short entry, but it's an entry nonetheless. Oh, and since I'm ending this entry on women's intuition, what I do want to say is, it's woman's intuition for a reason. Alright, love. I gotta go. Need to sleep. See you when I see you. I'll snooze for you later. As much as I thought I could plan a podcast, that is not gonna happen. I do not have the mindset to sit here. Chop up block how I'm going to tell you about weight loss and weight gain.